Hi everyone, welcome to Kitaabi Cabins. मेरा नाम वाणी है and today I am going to give you my recommendations on love despite the fact that I'm no love guru. Love as an emotion has always puzzled me because somehow we have mostly been taught to look at love as something that's very romantic. So when Lily decided to leave Gatsby in The Great Gatsby for her cheating husband, I genuinely could not understand. I couldn't fathom how would somebody in the world decide to leave all the luxuries, riches of life, and a guy who happened to love her for a guy who's cheating on her. And that was my biggest problem with most of the romantic books. There was always this balance that I was looking for that I always couldn't find in the usual romantic books that we pick up. But surprisingly, I found this balance in a children's book. The first recommendation that I have for you is Flipped by Vandelin van Dranen. And the entire book is just not about romance and people crushing on each other. It's about families, platonic love, the loneliness of life. There is this beautiful line that has stayed with me from this book. The cow by itself is just a cow. A tree by itself is just a tree. The clouds by themselves are just clouds. The sun by itself is just a sun. But when you bring them together, it could actually form a beautiful image / painting / photograph. The next book that I want to talk to you about is Where Angels Fear to Tread by E.M. Forster. There is a subplot in the book which deals with the romance of our protagonist. There's this line that moved me when I first read the book. This comes at a point where Philip, our protagonist, is confessing his love for this lady. And he says, I'll quote something else. I and my life must be where I live. He calls her my life. Now, when I think about it, it comes across as a little patriarchal. They must be where I live. But when I read it for the first time, it was so nice to see a character break out of character and confess something just for love. And this is another line which comes in where E.M. Forster says, we all radiate something curiously intimate when we believe ourselves to be alone. And I think I've gone back and reread these two lines at least 100 times or so because I love the nuance that they bring to the emotion of love. Because I've found myself staring out of my window to look at my parents when they're alone and they radiate something that is so beautiful, so intimate, and you want to hold on to it for the rest of your life. Now, these two books might not be your typical romance-oriented books, but they define what a beautiful relationship, what love should be. I also quickly want to address two beautiful poems that I love. One of them is by Leonard Cohen and it is called One of Us Cannot Be Wrong. This is a poem that dives deep into romantic love. The toxicities, the obsession, the jealousy, the way you would want to love somebody and the way you would want them to love you, and also the hope that lingers on once they've left you. He says, I heard of a saint who had loved you, and I studied all night in his school. He taught that the duty of lovers is to tarnish the golden rule. And just when I was sure that his teachings were pure, he drowned himself in the pool. His body is gone, but back here on the lawn, his spirit continues to drool. The series of lines beautifully sums up what we think of love, and we think we'll be over it, but we're not. This is the major reason why I love One of Us Cannot Be Wrong. And the last thing that I want to recommend to you is Agha Shahid Ali's Lenox Hill. Now, he wrote this poem when his mother passed away. There is a line that beautifully sums up how he felt when his mother passed away, and I think it sums up death for all of us. When I read it, I thought nothing about grief could come close. Nothing about being left behind could come close in the most practical sense of way. And he says, thus I swear, here and now, not to forgive the universe that would let me get used to a universe without you. And I think that's such a beautiful contradiction. Like, I hate the way my life will go on, and I hate it even more because I can go on without you and I do not want to. So these were my recommendations. I hope you liked them. Let me know in the comments what are your recommendations in love. It could be a movie, music, books, etc. And do like, share and subscribe to this video. And I'll see you again in the next episode of Kitaabi Cabins.